Hi, my wise astrology tribe, Cosmic Insight Astrology. I am your co-pilot, Christina. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, like, and comment below. Even a simple thank you would help me a lot with the algorithm and will help me to continue what I'm doing right now. All right. So if you're new to my channel, you should know, I truly, truly love asteroids and fixed stars. I also always bring up the Sabian symbols for you because it's going to give an extra layer for you. And today we actually going to talk about the Scorpio New Moon, which is going to happen 28 degrees and 11 minutes. I'm going to share the chart for a minute and I'm going to make sure, you understand what is happening. It's going to, for example, the new moon going to conjunct with Mercury in Scorpio, and also it's going to oppose Uranus in fall, which is in Taurus, and also it's going to trine Neptune and Saturn retrograde in Pisces, and also going to trine Jupiter in exalted position in Cancer. So we're going to talk all about that and the Sabian symbol as well. I'm going to bring up fixed stars and perhaps also some kind of asteroid as well. So as I know, guys, maybe you don't know that, but I'm also queen of the, not thought, but queen of the quotes. And I love to bring you always something which is represent what I'm actually translating for you. And right now I'm gonna translate and analyze the Scorpio new moon. And I wanted to bring you a few quotes for you, what is representing this beautiful new moon, right? The new moon is when the moon and the sun merge together in heaven and it's total darkness, right? There is no lights. But it's a new beginning. It's when you are actually planting seeds to restart your life. So yes, but Rumi said the wound is the place where the light enters you. And this is so, so true and representing that kind of Scorpio core over here, right? And also, Khalil Gibran said, out of suffering have emerged the strongest soul. The most massive characters are seared with scars. And one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious, said Carl Jung, right? So I just wanted to bring some quotes over here. And also the rebellion, the Uranian shock, because it's going to oppose Uranus. The most dangerous creation of any society is the man who has nothing to lose. That was actually James Baldwin who said that. All right, guys, and my favorite, George Orwell. I mean, I love that guy. His books, probably you read it also. The liberty means anything at all. It means the right to tell people what they don't want to hear. Guys, right now in America, the First Amendment, the speech, the freedom of speech is in jeopardy because of obviously right now we have gag order in the Charlie Kirk case in Utah, and they are censoring us. People who are saying the truth, who try to investigate, doing investigating journalism like Candice or Tucker or so many Anna Karpathy as well. They're trying to censor them. They're trying to make them infamous. And as you know, my YouTube channel also decreased the view, everything, because I'm doing a lot on mundane astrology and I'm talking about the truth. And actually, I find pleasure and joy to do investigative journalism. I became obsessed with the Arabic lots right now. And I'm using, for example, a lot of not just part of fortune or part of spirit or part of husbandry, but also I'm going to show you the part of assassination for some people right now. I'm going to try to analyze a few people again. And also I'm going to do each individual rising sign, or, if you're watching that for your sun sign, you are welcome on your moon sign. And we're going to talk about that as well. I have a lot of note over here. So let me show you first so you understand Just for a second, I just going to share the chart with you here. All right, so that's what you have to see. This is the new moon, and it's going to happen in Scorpio. Don't mind the ascendant because I erected the chart to in Miami, right? I live in South Florida. So the new moon is when the moon and the sun merge together. Mercury is here with them as well, just like Black Moon Lilith. But that's what you have to know. And also you have to check when you analyze any kind of chart, where is the ruler of the moon. So the moon taking place at Scorpio. Scorpio ruled by Mars, that is the old avatar, that is the old ruler of Scorpio, and then Pluto is in Aquarius, early degrees, right? And Mars is in Sagittarius, so Mars going to bring in some kind of liberation or talking the truth, obviously. And then, yes, and then you can check, actually Jupiter retrograde is exalted, right? In Cancer, it's creating a trine with it in 25 degrees, and also creating a trine with Neptune retrograde 29 degrees, and it is on fixed star. What is that sheet, which is discord, and Saturn also 26 degrees, 25 degrees, something minute. Let me see. What is the transit of Saturn? 25 degrees, 12 minutes, yes. So it's creating a trine. So this is the saving grace. And you can see there is a kite formation going on. Obviously, it's not exact because Pluto and Jupiter opposition is out of sign. Pluto is in Aquarius and Jupiter is in Cancer. Anyway, because of the orbs, it's still an opposition and it's still creating a kind of grand trine and also a saving grace over here, a mystic triangle. And a kite formation. And there is the opposition with Uranus in Taurus, right? So obviously there is going to be a lot of surveillance issues, a lot of issues with cryptocurrency technology. I don't know if you are looking and watching the news, but right now we're going to have an AI bubble popping because of the American stock and the American, yeah, stock actually is built on they are buying from each other's stocks. So they are investing the same money to each other's, companies. And that's why if one is going to get popped, for example, NVIDIA. Why? Because NVIDIA is, because it's technological stock, it is actually rely on earth minerals, right? And the earth minerals right now, because of the tariff, Brazil and China and Mexico and Venezuela. Oh, by the way, I'm going to bring up the Venezuela chart as well and Maduro's chart this time as well, because right now, obviously, the recent administration of America is want to take over Venezuela resources, and I just want to show a few things over there. Okay, but however, you have to know that because of the earth minerals, like NVIDIA, for example, and all the kind of AI bubble technology is based on earth mineral. And if we are putting 100% or 50% tariff on those countries, obviously everything going to be more expensive, or they are not willing to actually sell for us. And if we are not getting the earth minerals, the rare earth minerals, then or technology or anything to do with spaceships, flying cars, or pipelines, things like that. Everything, car, even car engines, going to suffer. So that's what we have to understand. Okay. All right, so that's what I wanted to share, and I'm going to stop sharing right now, guys, and then we're going to talk about. Actually, I just want to talk a little bit about, Scorpio and what the Scorpio means, because of if you want to analyze any kind of moon or any kind of aspect in the sign, in the, in astrology, you have to understand the keywords. You have to understand. What does it really mean? And you have to understand Scorpio is the alchemist. But Scorpio is also representing power. It's representing taboos, death, merging, transformation. It's the phoenix rising through ash and betrayer. It is the sorcerer. It is the truth extractor, right? Because of Scorpio, also the surgeon as well. But when Scorpio energy move unconsciously, it could manipulate, it could withhold, it could destroy the main dominance, right? But when it awakened, it becomes the healer who works through the underwood to actually retrieve lost souls and help the lost souls, who can actually hold your hand during a funeral or hold your hand during the funeral of your old self. That is very important, because that is the phoenix rising, the light rising through some kind of major damage or major, um, traumas. And that's why I brought up those quotes for you guys, when you can actually see the light can enter this during this new moon. And you have to understand, especially with lunation, when the new moon starts, it is planting the seed, but it's going to get unfold when the new moon going to happen. The full moon gonna happen in Scorpio, and the new moon in Taurus, so probably April, May 2026. And during these 6 months, who am I gonna talking about, or what am I gonna talking about, going to unfold during this time? It's not immediate, right? And then also what you have to know about the Scorpio new moon, and what does Scorpio represent in mundane perspective in the world themes. It is banking and insurances, anything to do with health insurance, wealth, but the shadow finances, because that is, Hades, and the wealth is inequality over here. Also taxation or national debts as well, national mortality. It is also the intelligence of the countries, the surveillance network, FBI, Mossad, any kind of other CIA agencies. It is also crime. It is also the black market, cartels, mafia, the political corruption, the elite manipulation, assassination. Actually, it is the one who is professional assassin. Also, it's represent mining, nuclear energy, because it's opposing Uranus as well, underground resources, mining earth minerals, right? It is war casualties and death tolls, right? And it is the destruction of the economy as well. But also, it is the occult society. It is almost like cults and secret doctrine and esoteric powers as well. So, but on the psychological level, because of eighth house is also the psychologist as well. It is the therapist. It is anything to do with sex trauma, sex trafficking, healing from that, rebirth through kind of loss. So some kind of grief is over here. But scorpionic energy could be very obsessive, very jealous. And there is also always a sexual power dynamic over here, but we can talk about. And it could be also emotional betrayal, something to do with secret society, something to do with karmic entanglement in your personal relationship, control against surrender, something to do with your deep survivor instinct, right? It could be compulsion as well, but anything to do with your shadow work therapy, anything to do with investigating, anything to do with regenerate, reborn after some kind of deep devastation. It could be also a spiritual death and also a resurrection, very, very Jesus Christ-like, very, very Phoenix-like, a resurrection over here. But also the highest form of the Scorpio is the alchemy of intimacy as well. Head and body, if we are talking about your body or health, it could be your reproductive organs, it is your genitals, and also rectum as well, and detoxification, parasite cleanse, life and death. It is rebirth. It is also like if you have, for example, during this time, maybe a near-death experience. It could bring in also hormonal imbalance and sexual transmitted disease, and anything to do with sepsis or, blood disorders as well. It could be infection and also surgery, or, those kind of deep scar tissues after surgeries. It could definitely bring in some kind of compulsive behaviors and something to do with, you can get attacked, psychic attacked. I always have to be careful with psychic attacks because I'm very vulnerable. And, like with curses and everything. So I always have to have black bracelets and anything when I'm working with people. But, it has also chemotherapy and toxins and poison. So it could actually also bring in some kind of issues with cell mutation, DNA manipulation, something to do with, also, DNA manipulation or toxicity. All right. In finances, it is the stock market. My son's teachers always writing me because he is in very high classes and he always have to do extra work. Sorry, I get distracted a little bit. All right. So it's insurance in stock market, right? Anything to do with loans, anything to do with prenups, anything to do with shared finances, bankruptcy. It is your mortgage, right? And it is also some kind of security in the bank as well. So wealth management, when you hedge funds, it is also the detective, the surgeons, the psychotherapists, the crisis managers, financial strategists, for example, and also, researchers and occult researchers as well. And in market and trading, it could actually represent something to do with hedge funds, for example. For example, BlackRock and Vanguard, Larry Fink, it comes from here because it's deep well stocks, but manipulated, which is wanted to take over the world. And right now, I would bring in Palantir as well because it's opposing Uranus, and Uranus is anything to do with well, nuclear power, lithium or uranium mining, but also it could be something to do with technology and surveillance, spying on us, right? Biotech as well, something to do with cancer research. Yes, but it's the debt market as well. So it is, for example, your credit cards and credit card debts and mortgage is belong from here, right? All right. So then we can actually talk a little bit about the myth over here because Scorpio is Persephone who is descending into Hades, and also Pluto guarding the invisible riches, and Kali is destroying to purify, Hecate guiding through crossroads, the phoenix burning and resurrects. That's the myth and the mystic archetype of Scorpio. So it is like I die daily and yet I live deeper every single time. Every single night we die a little bit and we reborn in the morning. That's what actually the Scorpio and the Scorpionic shadow represent for us. And the shadow of Scorpio, as I said, anything to do with revenge, control, manipulation, secrecy, and destruction. Destruction, it is actually also representing Scorpios and snakes and muled by wild animals. So definitely there is that some kind of very revengeful energy of the shadow work here. But sex trafficking, for example, but the gift of Scorpio is regeneration, fearlessness, compassion for pain, understanding. That's why the psychologists are belong from here. And also mastering the taboos and facing with it, and going through, through grief or pain, reborn again and born to be actually stronger. So Scorpio going to teach us right now that power isn't control. It is like, all right, we need to face death, but if you face death, you are capable to transform your life. You don't have to fear of death. You have to understand it's part of life, and you have to understand if you know it's part of life and you don't fear it, then you are capable to live your life with the highest, most, with moral and integrity. So Scorpio going to teach you that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we were talking before. It's going to trine Saturn, and Saturn is in Pisces, right? Saturn is anything to do with structure, karma, the Lord of karma. And it is, uh, in the mystical Pisces area, real estate, and Pisces is fogginess, it's illusion. So it is what used to dissolve, disciplines you. So right now, Saturn could be a little bit foggy, uh, but um, but anyway, and it's in retrograde right now, so not that strong. But it want to build some kind of structure for you and want to make you stronger emotionally out from chaos. So it is almost like learning to swim in deep water instead of drowning. So you are going to understand, doesn't matter if people going to disappoint you, you're not going to beat on the emotional pain. You just going to make sure you can rise from there over and over again and again. And it's also going to try Neptune retrograde. And Neptune is a higher octave of Venus, so it is forgiveness, it is love, it is anything to do with spirituality. It is the orphans, the underprivileged, the one who is imprisoned, but also imprisoned. For example, it's hospice, hospitals, hospitality, but imprisoned also uh, oh, when they didn't commit crime, but they somehow got imprisoned. I forget that word. Sometimes I forget words. You know that. So, but Neptune is fantasy. But right now, because of it is having the last kicks in Pisces, and Neptune rules Pisces, obviously, but it is in retrograde right now. Neptune taking off the pink glasses, so it has less illusion right now, and delusion, less delusional, and but definitely very, very spiritual, very compassionate, and it has a lot of fantasy though. So Neptune is glamour also, so it's almost like a glitter coat for us, right? But it's training with this new moon. So it is bringing in some kind of opportunity to, for example, create healing, become spiritual, especially Saturn being there to commit to spirituality during this full moon, new moon. So Neptune, it is like, all right, the dreams, what I was dreaming about before, but at one point I thought I can never achieve it. It's going to give me an opportunity again. So it's coming back to us. And you know what? It's going to become clearer, right? So also it's going to conjunct Mercury. Guys, if Mercury is in Scorpio, that is the detective, the investigator, the journalist who is actually, saying the truth no matter what. So every single time when I have something like that, I think about right now Candice Owen and Tucker Carlson or Young Turk. They are saying the truth and they are not being silenced. So yes, Mercury could be the petty thief also, but Mercury is the messenger. And in Scorpio, definitely going to do research, is definitely going to go very deep to analyze things. And the conversations going to be either, like deep and not not the influencers going to get on stage right now, but people who has values and their words has values. And also, it is actually has a lot of weight. Their message going to have a lot of weight. And the things what was unsaid, that we couldn't talk about right now, it will be talked about. As I told you guys, the Epstein file is going to drop out. Right now we see what's happening, what I told you before many, many times, who is into it and why is it not released. Obviously, we're going to check a few people right now and a few countries. But as I said, yes, it is going to be revealed, the whole entire elite, what I was talking about. And guys, right now, somehow I'm really into this kind of investigative astrology. I have Uranus in Scorpio, and because it's creating a grand water trine, not because of my intuition, my dreams are very lucid and vivid. I told you guys, I have psychic abilities. I always had. My dreams were very, prophetic. But Uranus in Scorpio, it's investigative astrology, forensic astrology, or anything to do with finances. And right now I'm doing all of that. And it's very interesting for me. So, yes, Mercury over here, it's some kind of verbal alchemy, something to do with, my words could create pains because of its reality and its shakens, but eventually, because it has a deep purpose, it's going to awaken people. So that's what it is. And it's also going to oppose Uranus. And Uranus is the chaos, the unexpected, the freedom of the freedom, the repair, right? And it is also earthquake. So because of the moon is scorpionic, we're going to have a lot of earthquake. And also we could have, like volcanic eruption because of Scorpio represents volcano as well. But that is the earthquake or the quakes actually could be some kind of breakthrough for us, for humanity. And it could warn us, right? And also it is representing, the moon is representing the public and Uranus is opposing to it. So the next half year, we will experience a lot of social unrest around the world. I coming out soon with Europe because I did 45 minutes with Astro Victor, but we only analyzed, the European Union and Hungary. So I want to do the beginning of that video and I'm gonna merge together because I want to talk about France and England and whole entire and Slovakia and most of the countries, also Romania, Russia. But I want to create a whole entire 2.5 hour video was obviously time stamped and showing you how is Europe going to actually go through a major change next year and a lot of social unrest going to happen over there. But yes, Uranus is anything to do with technology, anything to do with AI bubble right now, as I said, it going to pop as it is. And, we also have to check the ruler of Scorpio New Moon, and Mars is in Sagittarius because that's the ruler of the moon. And, Mars is in Sagittarius, really restless. It's the visionary. It's very blunt, right? It's moving fast. And it's very, very intellectual. It's debates. For example, I know you're going to see a lot of people debating, not necessarily fighting, but it could be actually, which I really would like to see people to be able to disagree and still sitting at the same dinner table, right? But being honest, what they are driven by and what they feel that's the truth for them, and still, to be able to have a decent relationship. And also Pluto is going to be in Aquarius, and it is in Aquarius for the next 20 years. Pluto over here is it's the alchemy itself, anything to do with architect revolution, anything to do with Silicon Valley, for example. That is the Palantir, which they actually wanted to create digital IDs and control us, but somehow I feel the next half year we are going to be against, like using AI. And if you saw my little poem yesterday, I wrote, and you can see that actually on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook also. about AI. We created the monsters and we could suffer from it. So just be mindful. How do you use that? How much information you are giving? As I said, Sam Altman going to be in trouble. I analyzed that last time, and right now I'm gonna bring it again because of the other CEO, Sujir, who got killed, but they say it was suicide on his birthday last year, 2024. He was a Scorpio guy. Like there is going to be some kind of a proof coming out of it. If you didn't see Tucker Carlson interview with the mother of Sujir, please watch it. It's very eye-opening. And also Tucker Carlson actually also interviewed Sam Altman, and he was very defensive. But I'm going to show you a few things again. Yes, but anyway, so Pluto in Aquarius, something to do with, like control of through surveillance. Right now I'm very, very scared to go to Airbnbs because of, they can get little tiny cameras all over, and even in hotels. So watch and buy that little device on Amazon, but you actually can check the cameras, the hidden cameras if you are traveling. That's very important. All right, so definitely there could be something to do with um, technology bubble going to burst. Yes, AI bubble going to burst. And the Silicon Valley in America, not in China, but in America, could suffer, uh, you know, uh, because of ethic, something to do with using the data, and it's unethical. All right, so the Sabian symbol in this new moon is an Indian woman pleading to the chief for the lives of her children. Oh my God. When I was researching this, I got like goosebumps because it is so raw. It is so profoundly human, guys. It's so motherly. It is mercy and it is courage, right? Through woman. So woman, we will see a lot of women actually, begging and pleading right now for help for their husbands, for their children who been actually jailed. Wrongfully jailed. There is a Hussein, I forget his name. He is a pediatrician. He was actually healing a lot of people in Gaza, and obviously IDF, jailed him, and probably they are make him suffer. And there is a plea to let him go, and they didn't want to let him go to another half year. So just think of that, how much. Oh my God, no, not even think of that. That is just like I can't. But definitely it is compassion born from human suffering. And it is that is what this Sabian symbol representing, right? Something to do with, there is betrayal, there is shadow works, but instead of you know, uh, uh, feeding into that with wisdom and with forgiveness, trying to actually transcending our own darkness, and capable to go through humiliation or whatever we need to go through, just to be there for the ones who we love. Doesn't matter. We need redemption, some kind of situation happening with this Sabian symbol. All right, and helping the wounded, and being the bridge between the wounded and the powerful, because the world could be very ruthless. And that Scorpionic new moon opposing Uranus could be. But then there is the grand trine, water trine, which is forgiveness and psychic. And it is anything to do with compassion and miracles, and anything to do with families, and and female leaders. So definitely it could be very, very sacred, right? And we always go up. So it is 28 minutes, 28 degrees, 11 minutes, the new moon. So we're gonna go up to 29 degrees always with the Sabian symbol, which is karmic layer, right? It is a very, very karmic layer. It is, the degree of sacred surrender, what we have to understand. And Pisces, anything to do, Scorpio, actually, but it is also trining with Neptune in Pisces. But the scorpionic layer over here also something to do with the trine with Neptune, with forgiveness and finding a peace as well. All right. So the other thing what I wanted to talk, that is also a fixed star, which is a centaur, which is the Tollyman, right? Which is going to conjunct with this new moon, right? So then we have to talk about this fixed star a little bit. So 29 degrees. Scorpio is Tollyman, which is the ostriches. It is, referring actually, meaning what is it? Let me read that for you. Divine connection between past and future. That's what it is. And the historical and cultural context of, in Arabic astrology, Toliman is fixed star, right? Something to do with the group of ostriches and seen as graceful yet protective because of ostriches are very powerful birds, but also it could be migratory beings that cross vast deserts, symbolizing endurance, guidance, and maternal vigilance as well. So, all right, that is what it is. And then Ptolemy said it is Jupiter in flavor, right? And then someone who is unknown said it's Sun and Mars in flavor. So it's vitality and drive and courage as well. And it is the one who is the warrior, the protector, who act like a protector. But Ptolemy said it is Venus and Jupiter in flavor, and Venus, Jupiter always a blessing, always honor and generosity, always, anything to do with morality and moral beauty and also something to do with deep spiritual guidance and art as well. So so that is very positive because of, and well, there is some kind of shadow in this Ptolemy as well with Sun and Mars, but the positive side of this conjunction or the new moon happening on this fixed star is honorable friendship. Getting some kind of graceful job or graceful new career, for example. It's also wisdom as well. It's also enduring love, even through pain. And it is healing and miracle. But the shadow side of this is overconfidence and intolerance. Sun and Mars could be very, like I'm right all the time and doesn't matter your opinion. I don't care about that. That is more like propaganda. Yes, propaganda. So it could be also martyrdom or violent defense. That is definitely propaganda and attack before because of, they could attack you one in the future kind of situation over here. So in the physical correlation, this could actually represent something to do with your spine and with your eye and blood circulation. So we will need to be careful with that. Yes, but also what you are listening, what you are hearing, be careful what you are doing right now because this moon is also ruled by Mars and Sun and Mars also Ptolemy. Um, Toliman, the fixed star over here representing Sun Mars in flavor in nature. So it could be something to do with your ear. So what look make sure you are don't listen propaganda and you are not influenced by that, right? But definitely could bring in magic And definitely, it could bring in protection as well for us and courage and compassion to go and move forward. If you have actually 29 degrees in Scorpio, your sun, moon, or rising, or any kind of planet, if this fixed star, for example, in your natal chart, conjunct with the sun or with your ascendant, you could become a noble character, someone who is a healer, but also inspiring other. And if it is conjunct with your moon, you are a protector and a protector of your family or your ancestry. If it is a Mercury conjunct with Mercury, you are a researcher. You can be a journalist, for example, investigative journalism, right? So yes, that's what it means. All right, let's see and let's try to analyze the geopolitical, um, area right now, what's happening during this new moon and the next half year when it's going to unfold, right? Because of that's what the most important. And I'm gonna go to each individual sign a little bit. All right, something to do with sex trafficking. I was talking about that because Scorpio rulership of taboos and that, right? And sex. And Mercury is over there, and Mercury going to reveal and open, for example, cases, something what was untouchable, court documents, surveillance footages, right? And then it's going to actually surround the elite abuse, right? Because we're going to see the network and it's going to emerge right now, going to come to light within half year. And it's also because Uranus is in Taurus, it's in fall, but make sure it's going to actually expose the truth. How? Because of the database could be hacked, email could be hacked, anything to do with blockchains, forensic, anything to do with, and also Saturn is in Pisces over there. And Saturn in Pisces it's justice for the underprivileged, for the victims over there, but very slow, and the world is capable to see it right now. Also, the other thing could be because of Neptune is glamour and it's oligarchy as well. And, Scorpio, New Moon, and Uranus opposition could, collapse some kind of oligarchy here as well. So you will see some kind of long protecting alliances between billionaires or governments or intelligence services, because obviously we were talking about Scorpio is also, to do Hades. It is mafia and cartel. Neptune is drug trafficking, right? And it is training with it. Obviously, there is going to be some kind of, you know, uh, the CIA, Mossad, or any kind of agencies, even the UK spy agencies, going to be revealed, and we're going to see what they have done. And also, there could be some kind of hacking, data hacking, which is going to allow us to see the transactions between people and government officials and how much they actually stole. And it's going to try to Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer is exalting, and Jupiter is justice. It is also something to do with social media. It is also to do something with YouTubing, right? So it could bring in actually some kind of justice systems through YouTubing. So YouTubers going to actually reveal the truth for us, right? But definitely, it is like the collective going to know about that. And because Uranus is representing Silicon Valley, anything to do with the tech messiah, it's Palantir. It is Peter Thiel is really voting for transhumanism, and he is actually want to have an eternal life, but feeding on the soul of the the average people, us, right? So it could be something to do with we going to rebel against Palantir and surveillances, or our data will be sold, and right now we're going to find out, and we're not going to allow that. So it could be because Neptune is also some kind of illusion and delusion, but it's gonna dissolve, the tech messiah illusion. And then also, Uranus is anything to do with artificial intelligence, right? And it could be something to do with data ethics and scandals, because, the stolen intellectual properties, for example, as I said about Sam Altman and Shujir. Shujir was the guy, as I said, because he been killed, but they think it was a suicide, or they actually say that was a suicide, but the mother obviously knows it wasn't. Uh, um, that is something what is going to try coming out, because that guy was a whistleblower. He left ChatGPT because he knew the ChatGPT was stolen intellectual properties and data from people and actually violated the human rights, right? So right now it's going to come out something to do with the speculative mania, the AI bubble, and the AI bubble going to deflate. Sirius, someone, I forget, Sirius Jason, he does a lot of videos with China, and how Chinese technology is actually improving right now. Just check him out on YouTube. He's really really interesting man, and he's talking about the AI bubble and how China going to take over right now as well. So yeah, also there could be some kind of whistleblowers going to testify about child trafficking, or yeah. So that is the ladies who been abused by, or were in the Epstein file. More ladies going to come over. I mean, come out and testify right now. Uh, yeah. All right. What else? The public perspective going to change right now, and from denial they're going to want to see and they want to listen the truth. There is, when I reading the comments on any kind of social media accounts, people who are saying the truth, it makes me very upset, because of I see how many people are listening propaganda and they are not really intellectually lazy, or let's say, many of them are truly truly evil or dumb, and they are not willing to say the truth, and that could actually be something what is changing right now. The narrative is going to change. The way we are actually seeing things going to change. A lot of people going to awaken and see, all right, Kennedy got killed by who? Martin Luther King killed by who? Like finally we will be seeing the truth, and we're not going to put our head in the sand. So that's what's gonna happen, because Scorpio going to demand real transformation, and it's not propaganda, it's not marketing, right? Because we're going to be hungry collectively for redemption and for redemption stories as well. It's gonna feel good for us. All right. And definitely, because Uranus is actually in Taurus, it could be something to do with AI technology, or tech stock could actually plunge 60%, or some kind of, you know, uh, it's opposing the moon. So the next half year, some of the AI technology going to become and get destroyed. For example, it could be through because of ethical dilemma there, and also something is coming out. As I said, I truly believe Sam Altman going to be most likely prisoned, for example. He was also accused by her sister of rape, constant raping for 7 years. So there could be something leaking out about him. But there is also going to be a lot more robotic startups right now. So we will go and see that. And, anything to do with medical teledoctor, for example, it's going to become very common. Right now, we're not going to go to doctors. And actually, I don't want to because I took my son last time and we just went to a walk-in clinic because he had a abdominal pain. And, then they didn't sign an antibiotic. I assumed I'm a nurse. He had a UTI. They said, yeah, that is probably a UTI. Then the culture came back negative. So then they said he passed a kidney stone, but in America, I called the pediatrician, the urology pediatrics, and then they didn't give me right away, like what is that? Uh, a date and appointment, just like in a month later. So right now I'm doing some herbal remedies to make sure he's fine, but this is just terrible. So obviously, with teledoctors and having all the you can actually send the culture in soon and you don't need to wait in line and being discriminated perhaps so that could be a really good outcome of this new moon right now. But also it could be something to do with government impose transparency on offshore funds, hidden trillions, right? Re-enter domestic economy. Jupiter in Cancer makes care economics, and it is could be the new prestigious people, the power going to shift right now. But then we're going to also learn about, how many people have offshore account and trillions of dollars are exchanging. People are bribed with money. People selling the soul to the devil. Scorpio could be very devilish, right? It's Hades, it's the devil. Um, and sold their soul and no morality and no integrity whatsoever. But also, Neptune is there, Jupiter is there in a trine. That could be something to do with the media. It could be a resurrection for the media, right? Because that's going to be like there is going to have a lot of forbidden archives, and it's going to somehow, people who've been silenced, journalists or investigators, somehow the data going to get leaked and the corporate lobbyists right now, intelligence agencies, what was influencing the investigative journalism and silence the truth right now it's coming out and the truth going to become the collective healing and the therapy for our soul because when you know the truth you are at least capable to face it and you can heal from that, so that's going to be very, very important. All right, there are going to be a lot of scandals with spiritual leaders, fake ones, obviously, because Neptune is in it, and illusion, delusion. Mercury is in it, which is thief, pity thief, right? Like stealing the narrative, something like that. But definitely, it could be more scandals coming out with singers because Neptune also representing singers. How they've been. Neptune also something to do with mental illnesses. So how they actually created mental illness or stamped people to become witches or, I'm talking about my name is Urban Witch. Obviously, I'm a medicine woman. That's what it represents. But I'm talking about like they're going to go to witch hunt and like going to put everyone under like a propaganda like, oh, this is crazy, this is crazy, this is like how do you call that, doing conspiracies, and right now people are not going to believe that because conspiracy is conspiracy until it becomes the truth, guys. And I told you 2 years before, like we were talking about that, but Scorpio also is purges the rotten, right? And Jupiter going to amplifies empathy with the trine with Neptune, and Saturn is going to convert the outrage into some kind of new policy. So Saturn is going to be there like All right, there was a lot of abuse, there was a lot of manipulation, but right now the survivors coming out and talking about that. So finally, we're going to find the voices, and we're going to create empathy and healing, and we're gonna purge the rotten. And I love that. I absolutely love that. All right, so definitely there is going to be a financial reset globally, right? Because of Uranus went back by Western astrology to Taurus, and in Vedic astrology, it is in Taurus. So when in Vedic and Western, it's in Taurus, which is Uranus is the genius, it's in fall, and that is the platform of anything to do with, cryptocurrency, or anything to do with technology, or anything to do with, opposing Scorpio, which is death, which is mortgage, which is, you know, uh, taxes as well. It is going to actually reset the global finances there. It could be also a cyber leak, obviously, right? Something to do with, as I said, with sex trafficking. We're gonna know everything. We're gonna be not just surprised, because we already know who are in it. A lot of people are still in denying DGT is in it. A lot of people says, "Oh, I don't think so." He is in it, believe me. And it's going to be something like even people with women, Scorpio New Moon, evil women who were in, for example, Naomi Campbell, we definitely know that, but people who are like, oh my God, that woman was actually sex trafficked and married with a person who was abusing, young women before. So we're gonna learn a lot about this. All right, there could be also political scandals as well. There could be also medical malpractice with beauty surgeries or surgeries as well. Actually, it could be trafficking, organ trafficking. It's going to come out a lot in the news, like somebody went to do a facelift in a foreign country and they stole their kidneys, right, or something like that. I mean, it's not funny though, but we're going to know a lot of scandal like that. And insurance industries, because of in America right now, people like a family of four can pay up all to like 15,000, 20,000 annually insurance, right? And it is like a robbery, because you get denied all the time whenever you go to surgery. You're not going to get back your money. So you will see actually a lot of people not going to be afford insurances, or there is going to be more scandal, or actually that Magnon guy who killed the CEO going to become like a hero. I mean, he killed a person. This is evil, but I'm saying there could be actually more cases like that. So they're going to go against insurance agencies, or we're going to hear a lot of stuff like there is a fire or there is a flood insurance, and the agency is actually dropping off houses to be insured or people to be insured. So we will see that as well. We can also have some kind of climate engineering scandal. So, for example, what happened in Texas, and there was like 150 kids died. And you remember climate cloud seeding in Dubai and the flood over there. And they were talking about that they released a lot of clouds. And obviously, why did the whole entire hurricane went to the Atlantic and didn't hit the shores at all? Because they are engineering it, and they are capable to manipulate right now the hurricane. So this is going to become a weapon again. And it was already generated before, but anything to do with climate engineering and cloud seeding could become a weapon. So bauxite in Jamaica, right now we had a 216 mile an hour hurricane in Jamaica, right? It was devastating, but it didn't do that much damage as they expected. So they could slow it down probably right before. But Jamaica has the red sand, which is bauxite, and they want to mine that rare mineral, right? But they cannot really mine the mineral if it's inhabited, the island is inhabited. So what they're going to do, probably they want to make Jamaica not be able to live on, because they want to mine that. how they're going to do that? They're going to create hurricanes there. All right, so that is one thing here as well. There could be also some kind of AI psychological revolution over here because Neptune and Saturn also involved over here. And Neptune and Saturn is some kind of AI avatar therapy. Right now we can use, for example, not necessarily ChatGPT, I'm not voting for it, but to be your therapist, to ask questions and, like telling you what to do and what kind of diets you have to start. You won't need to, hire a dietitians because right now you will be able to find everything through some kind of AI protocol. There could be also something to do with religious and political power, which is like somehow against each other. It's like, Christian Zionism. This is ideologies, right? And actually Neptune is ideology itself. And the hidden side effect of those kind of ideologies, or also, some kind of Neptune is the big pharma and drug companies also, and the side effect of the Neptunian energy over here, which is, anything to do with the side effect is coming out, and it could be bring in some kind of public awareness, and it could bring in some kind of lawsuit as well. And Jupiter is helping with the lawsuit. For example, people going to have, okay, so this vaccination created, like maybe even the COVID vaccination, guys, it is like, all right now, yes, why did people get turbo cancers? Why did 36 years old, PTA parent, mother, from my friendship zone died. My other friend, 50 years old, stroke, heart attack, turbo cancer. I lost so many people the last year, and they were healthy and young. I mean, the oldest was 50, my age, and it was like terrible. It's tragedy. So right now we're going to have some kind of revelation of the pharmaceutical side aspect, and it's going to be a lot of whistleblowers coming in, right? And that because Saturn is also trining, it's going to enforce regulation, guys. So it's going to be actually good with that kind of, and a lot of lawsuit bringing awareness. All right. What else could be? Well, there could be something like peace negotiation behind the doors because Neptune is behind the doors, also higher octave of Venus, which is peace, right? Compassion. But somehow it's leaked out. And somehow we will learn actually they didn't really want it peace, kind of secrets coming out with that. And definitely it's going to be a resurrection of the crypto market. But first, it could have some kind of shocking crash, right? And regulate crypto as well. And then later on, when Uranus going to go back to Gemini, April 26, 2026, it's going to bring in prosperity through crypto and technology. As I said, I told you guys uranium, lithium, invest in that, anything to do nuclear power, anything to do with technology, but not necessarily in the US. I keep telling you to try to open your mind and invest in Germany, in Mexico. Mexico going to be amazing. I have to tell you that. And yes, so yes, it could be also rise of a biotech empire, something to do with, cancer healing. Um, uh, yes, it could be like ivermectin could become somehow the healing protocol of cancer. So we will see, but yeah. Also, it could stabilize the real estate market. Uranus is in fall. The first eclipse gonna happen in 2026 in Aquarius, which ruled by Uranus and Saturn, obviously. That is when 2008 the market crashed, guys. So yes, watch out. Next year you might be able to get affordable housing. Yes. Also, Moon. And Uranus opposition, it could bring in some kind of blackout, digital blackout, right? It's something to do with a temporary communication collapse. Uranus is something to do with drones. Uranus is something to do with flying as well. So because of in America, we had a shutdown for the government for 40 something days. And also we have no coordinators at the towers at the airport. So it could be some kind of massive delays during Christmas and Thanksgiving, people not going to be able to travel. So yes, it could bring in something to do with aliens, guys. And I always told you guys, don't necessarily look up. However, when I was a child at 17, I also told you guys I did have and I had seen aliens. And but what I want to also say here, they are coming from the ocean. They have something. The ocean is so deep. We've been never able to actually discover the depth of the ocean. And I feel like the base of the aliens and alien civilization is somehow in our oceans, right? Yeah, so it could bring in that. All right. And the stock market definitely going to have some kind of volatile I'm sorry, volatility, because Scorpio represents stock market. Also, it could be something, Uranus is unconventional, so something to do with burials. It's going to be some kind of new unconventional burials as well. Maybe because we have the Grand Trine, it's going to be more like a lot of people, ashes going to be in the oceans to return there. Or it could be like the pod, like you become a beautiful tree, your body is feeding the tree, something like that, and it's going to reforestation, but with bodies, and that's going to be the cemetery, something like that could happen. But also because of the Grand Trine, the positive things here is the medical miracle through some kind of crises, right? Jupiter, Neptune, it's in Trine. So it is something to do with medical ethics as well. Yes, and ocean resources, but also wars on ocean. So what you see right now, the US is put a whole entire military and navy close to Venezuela because want to attack Venezuela. Why? Not because of the drugs. It's not like fentanyl not coming from there, but mostly it's coming from Colombia. And like it's not Venezuela, guys. It is just want to have a regime change. Why? Yeah, Maduro is evil. Yeah, Maduro was a drug dealer. But on the other hand, you know what? It is just because of we want to have the oil. 60% of the oil, it's really thick. It's still under the Venezuelan, ground. They also have emerald and gold and very, very rare earth mineral, obviously. America doesn't, so they want to have a regime change over there. All right. There could be also a lot of spiritual cult collapses. You will see, priests who are lying, and it's going to surface the truth, and then they are going to collapse finally. Yes, secret societies going to get destroyed because of the truth are coming out. Also, there could be something to do with space mining. Scorpio is mining, and Uranus is anything to do with the space. And yeah, that could be definitely happening right now and start to happen right now. Also, because Scorpio is going deep in the oceans, there is a trine. We're going to have some kind of old city phone. Maybe we're gonna find Atlantis really in the ocean, and or sculptures. Neptune is something to do with art. So we or art, some kind of really beautiful art, or going to be resurfaced through an earthquake under oceanic volcano, like going to come up and bring closer the hidden treasure of a city what was actually sank into the ocean. Yes, and there definitely Uranus is some kind of shock, and Scorpio is some kind of secrecy, so something to do with weapons as well. It could be some kind of new weapons. It is more like what is that? drones which going to be revealed. They are using that for a long time. But definitely oligarchy could collapse right now, and rebirth of journalism, the voice that cuts through the people. And as I said, Anna Kaspari and Candice and Tucker are going to be the leader of that. All right, guys, so that's what I wanted to say. But, let's talk a little bit of some people over here. And I want to show the chart for you, not to talk a lot about that, but it's very interesting for me. So I just want to show this. All right, so I'm up with Tucker Carlson. Why did I come to Tucker Carlson? Okay, I just gonna talk a little bit because he's attacked by APEC, right? He has actually a Taurus new moon, and Uranus is going to be transiting his Taurus new moon, and it's going to oppose the new moon in Scorpio, and he has Neptune in Scorpio over here. So it is actually trying to create something about him, like he is a propagandist, and he is actually someone who is he can lose alliances or some kind of funding, right? Because of that, but they're trying to. He has Pluto Jupiter conjunction in Virgo. Jupiter actually it's in detriment, but anyway, it could be like his journalism is creating abundance and billions for him later on in this lifetime. But definitely right now, this wedge, what it's creating, it could be like they're trying to uh, make him infamous and saying he's a propagandist and he's spreading lies. So that's the narrative of Tucker. I have been on Tucker, I don't know why. All right, let's see actually Trump. I really wanted to show Trump for you. And where is Trump? Trump. All right, here. Donald Trump is here. I showed you guys Uranus is going back to his midheaven. Then he was shot. He actually had Uranus-Mars conjunction on his midheaven, squaring with his natal Mars and ascendant, obviously. And Progress Israel, it's still on his midheaven, so he is actually forbidden to do anything because Progress Israel is putting a chokehold on him. All right. The other thing is he has Pluto is the seventh house of open enemies on Epstein, and it's opposing his progress Saturn. Believe me, progress Saturn is here in 5 degrees for him. So the Epstein fire and the connection Epstein as a friend for him is going to create actually a downfall for him. That's what it's representing. He has progress moon in 21 degrees Scorpio. So it's opposing right now his Uranus. So I would think someone who is a female figure in his life, it could be his daughter, granddaughter, or Melania, could actually go through some kind of uh, not necessarily tragedy, but some kind of major, like downfall somehow. Some kind of secret could come out from those people, and it could bring a downfall for the female figure in her family, in his family. But definitely, he is still in danger, and physically as well. Saturn went back to the eighth house. Eighth house is surgery. Saturn Neptune could be chemotherapy, something to do with cancer over here. And Jupiter and transit Israel and transit Jupiter exaltation on the midpoint of Saturn Venus over here, and it's squaring with his Jupiter in the third house. So it is like losing friends, right? And also Pluto in the seventh house is losing alliances and friendship because of the fire is going to come out. Yes, that's what's happening over here. So Trump is physically is in danger still, and his health is really going to get weakened. And Jupiter Israel in the 12th house, it is either hospital or it could be it's transit Israel. But don't forget, progress Israel on Uranus right now and midheaven. And then it could be like hospitalized or jailed, for example, the next half year I'm talking about. Okay, Let's go and let's see. Actually, I want to see BB, Benzion Milekovisky, which is Netanyahu over here. So I'm going to change that for you. Netanyahu has a Sagittarius rising, but he has actually Mars and Pluto conjunction in the ninth house. This is foreign policies. Mars is actually conjunct with Trump's Mars as well. And right now it's squaring Uranus, Uranus in the sixth house. So there could be some kind of heart palpitation, some kind of genetic issue, some kind of Uranus is going back all the way to Algol, beheaded, right? Algol is the Medusa being beheaded. It is squaring for 7 months with Mars. It's foreign countries being actually captured by a foreign country. It could be captured by a foreign country. And because of the moon gonna happen in the 12th house, it could be also like being in prison, captured by a foreign country, a military. Sixth house is military, so somehow a military, you know, by military of a foreign country could be captured and could be jailed the next half year, but also his health is going to suffer as well. All right, let's see other people over here. Let's see actually Putin. Why not? Putin has a Scorpio rising. It's going to be in his first house and it's opposing Uranus in the seventh house of alliances. So Putin actually going to have to change and will have change his alliances somehow. And Uranus is also borders as well. So somehow I would think Putin is managing to get new borders to Russia, but new alliances as well. And it's squaring with his midheaven. So he also going to have and lose some alliances as well right now. And probably it's going to be Trump. They're not going to somehow agree with Trump and they're going to become actually frenemies right now instead of friends. That's what I see for Putin right now here. Okay, let's see. And let's see, for example, America. Why not? Let's see America and Israel because but we can see others. So that is America also has a Sagittarius rising. Jupiter and Israel conjuncting in the eighth house on the natal Israel right now. This moon is happening in the 12th house, secret society, something to do with surveillances, something to do with FBI, Mossad, anything to do with CIA. There is some kind of, they can actually have surveillance on the people, sixth house, right? Because of the moon usually is exalted in Taurus, so Taurus over here it's representing the people of the country. Uranus actually could be also some kind of false flag operation or some kind of attack, like some kind of terror attack as well. And because of Saturn and Neptune right now, it's in still in the fourth house, and the last kick of Neptune over here, it could be underwater or some kind of marine tragedy, something to do with a war on the ocean, for example, and what they do with Venezuela, and they said it's against the dog charter, which is Neptune. Obviously, it could be that, right? And it is squaring with Mars in the seventh house, so losing alliances and having more enemies as well. So that's the US at this moment. But that could be also a false flag operation right now, guys, in the US territory, in the US area, unfortunately, just like 9/11 was. All right, then we're going to go and then we're going to check. Maybe let's do uh, Israel. What's happening? Israel has a Libra rising. But Israel has the sun 23 degrees in the eighth house. Taurus, Uranus is actually going back all the way to 25 degrees over here, and it's going to transit asteroid Epstein and also the sun as well. But right now it's opposing the new moon in the second house. You know what does it mean? Actually, it's gonna mean like they're going to lose financial support. Israel is losing. That is the first things what they're gonna lose. They're going to lose financial support, right? And look at that. Israel, the Saturn Neptune transit is in America. Saturn is like trying to do a chokehold in America, right? Over here. Uh, Definitely. So what's happening over here? The very first, let me see, Pluto is in the fifth house. Okay, Pluto opposing its nations, right? It's gonna have also a Pluto opposition. I told you guys, when Saturn going to come to Taurus and gonna go on the North Node and also on the Sun in 2028, and it's also going to eventually create a, um, a square with the natal moon, then the natal Pluto, then the natal Saturn, 2028, 29, mostly 2029, it's going to be some kind of big downfall of Israel, if it's any Israel left by that time. But you see, right now, because of Mars is in 28 degrees in Leo, it is actually going to create a square with this new moon, and it's a square with Uranus, so it's creating a T square, and it is actually losing reputation on the world. 11th house is justice and it's court. So they're going to be the crime, the war crimers going to brought to court, and justice going to start to be served. As I said, Netanyahu could be jailed in 6 months, and it's going to be court system going on, and justice system start to actually convict the criminals, the war criminals over here. Okay, let's go and let's see. Okay, I wanted to check Venezuela, right? Because of uh, we are trying to get Venezuela and Maduro. I can check Maduro as well. All right, let's see what's happening over here with Venezuela. Venezuela has a beautiful grand trine in Italy with Mars, and it's water grand trine, right? Because of they have the ascendant Mars Uranus, it's mining over here, it's earth minerals, which is really good for also for technology. They have Pluto in Scorpio, not Pluto in Pisces, Pisces represented by Neptune, which is oil and natural gas, right? So obviously there is actually an opportunity over here for them to become very, very prosperous through having those earth minerals mined and selling to globally. So this country could become really, really prosperous in the future, right? But what's happening right now? Uranus is open enemies. That's going to be America right now at this moment, opposing their ascendant. So yes, they're going to end Mars over here. So they're going to definitely want to have a war against Venezuela. It is the midheaven is the leader of the country, and it's in Leo. So they want to kill the leader of the country. And I believe it's going to succeed. They're going to kill somehow Maduro. And I predicted that over a year ago because I have a Venezuelan friend, Elena, and we're doing podcasts with her. And I checked Maduro, and I told you guys before he will be removed. I didn't see the conflict between the US yet, but I already predicted 18 months ago. So that's going to happen. And what I see, remove the president, the head of the country, going to be removed by violence. It's violence, right? So that's what's happening. Invasion, 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 invasion. Terrible thing. All right. Okay. But that's what's happening. Okay. And then the Nobel Peace Prize went to a Venezuelan woman, and Nobel Peace Prize anything to do with, you see, also America, the asteroid America in the 10th house of Venezuela, which is influencing their future as well. And foreign policy, right now, Jupiter, Israel, Jupiter wants peace, and it's exalted. So the woman who get the Nobel Prize, they said they want to put uh, something in Tel Aviv. But oh my God, I forgot what they wanted to do. I'm so sorry. I have so much information always, and read so much and watch so much news, but yes, that lady who won the Nobel Peace Prize from Venezuela wanted to have some kind of center in Tel Aviv in Israel, so that's what it's representing here. All right. All right, let's see what else is happening over here, and let's see. Ah, well, I don't know if I want to. Let's see Iran, because I know they want to initiate another war in Iran. And oh, Iran has a ascendant in Sagittarius, so obviously secret enemies here and open enemies. Ooh, is oh okay. So open enemies. It is no, no, no. Uranus is actually in the sixth house, and it went on asteroid Israel, and it is opposing this new moon. So unfortunately, the next 6 months Israel drone attacks going to happen again, and the moon is exalted for them, which is the people, the public, the general public, and Uranus. It could be like a lot of attack, a drone attack against the public, unfortunately, which is could be yeah. Oh no, I didn't want to see that, but that's gonna happen with Iran, guys. And you know, and because of they have also Jupiter 29 degrees in Cancer, its mortality, obviously, Jupiter return for Iran and Israel, asteroid Israel is going on. So yeah, that could be something to do with high mortality. However, Saturn and Neptune here on Mars and Mercury in Pisces creating a grand trine and triggering the grand water trine. Iran is not going to leave that alone. Iran is hitting back. Iran is eventually winning something here, but they will be attacked again. Hmm. All right, let's see. Let's see then. Lebanon. Yes, let's see Lebanon because they are. Let's see what's happening with Lebanon. So they have a Jupiter in Leo, which is actually squaring with this new moon. Oh, and then the moon is happening on the sun, which is the vitality of the country, and also it's the country's head, the head of the minister of the countries, and America. And Peter, I put Peter over here because I wanted to see Peter Thiel, the asteroid Peter. Also, so yes, America and the sun of Lebanon is conjuncting the moon going to happen and actually uh, create a square with Jupiter in Leo, and it is secret enemies over here. So that's representing actually America doesn't say no to Israel and allow Israel to keep attacking Lebanon over here. So that's what's happening here, unfortunately. Yes, and Uranus is actually in the ninth house. It's foreign policy. Uranus is across the sun, so definitely more drone attack, and it's more. So the next half year, which I'm sorry, my friends in Lebanon, but it's gonna happen. So we're gonna have a very active, um, issues there. Let me see Mexico, for example. Some of my friends are Mexican. What's happening? Mexico has Mars in the 12th house also. So Uranus is going to actually uh, making a square and Scorpio also. So, it's neighborhood countries, and Uranus in Taurus could be something to do with the tariffs, right? And it could create some kind of issue at the beginning, right? But later on, I believe Mexico going to become because North Node is on Pluto for them in Pisces, and the eclipse happened on Pluto, so it's going to bring in new alliances for them, right? So that will be positive. But right now, somehow the tariff could bring in some kind of issue for them, or it could be some kind of because of traveling or because of. Hmm, yeah, Mexico could have some kind of airplane issues, something to do with airplane crashes, perhaps. But I see here, I hope not. I always hope I'm wrong, guys, believe me. But it could be that or some kind of new virus coming out as well. Oh, oh, Uranus and Taurus, it could be something to do with the milk production or something to do with oh yes, something to do with the beef production. They can have some kind of virus on the Mexican beef. All right, let's see what else going to come here. Oh, let's see Turkey. I have also Turkish friend and I want to just check Turkey for you guys. You have a Cancer rising, okay. You're going to have the eclipse in the fifth house. It's not bad, but not eclipse, the new moon, and it's gonna happen on Jupiter. All right, actually, Turkey could have some kind of luck with investment and mining. They might going to find some kind of rare earth minerals, which could create abundance for the country. Um, all right, yeah, that could be that. And then let me see, the midheaven is in Pisces, but it's in 16 degrees, so it's not going to create a trine. Hmm. Yeah, but definitely a lot new alliances for Turkey, which is creating abundance for them. So this one is actually not a bad opposition here, and it's not going to be also the grand trine, which I say it could be something very positive with investment, with mining, with earth minerals, with technology, uh, luxurious boat creating, luxurious new airlines. Turkey's airlines, for example, could bring in, yeah, definitely could initiate a new government as well because North Node is on Uranus right now. Yeah, it could be the next half year something with the Turkish government, perhaps, and it could be a change over there. Someone maybe more compassionate. All right, let me see what else. Um, hmm, maybe I wanted to show you a few things for you guys. I wanted to also, I know it's gonna become very long. No, I just gonna do in another video because of, as I said, I got really obsessed with the Arabic Lats, and I found out something with Charlie Kirk death and Kennedy's death and everything else. Okay, let me go one by one, by all individual signs. So Aries rising, the moon is going to happen in your eighth house. It is definitely something to do. Let me stop sharing right now. So it's definitely going to bring in an opportunity for you with eighth house matters, right? So it's a new beginning over there. And by the way, guys, on personal level, every kind of aspect is more positive than negative. But in the eighth house, you can have maybe a good tax refund. Maybe you can pay off your mortgage. Maybe you can have a surgery. It could be also something to do with, um, mm, like a facelift or some kind of reproductive. Maybe you need a hysterectomy, but then it's going to save your life. It could be also you're gonna go on hormone therapy. You're gonna hire a shrink and do some kind of shadow works. You're going to hire a detective. Maybe your identity was stolen, and right now you are finding the one who is, stole your identity. It could be something to do like you creating a trust fund, or you're going to have a very, very positive prenup. to sign. Also, you can get into tarot reading, or you can become a psychologist. You can actually, if you had some kind of addiction or hormonal imbalance, you can heal that. But you can also pay off your loans, your debts. You can actually have a debt relief as well. All right, Taurus rising sun and moon is going to happen actually in your seventh house. Seventh house, anything to do with your relationship, partnership, and control. Seventh house is your mirror, what's called to you. It's your husband, it's one-on-one relationship. So, it could be like you're going to get engaged, or, you're going to actually have a project, a codependent project. Maybe you hire or you're going to business with someone else, with a friend. It could be also like you're going to become committed. So you're going to get married, or you're going to be really attracted to your partner, very, very intimate, and that kind of animalistic instinct and passion for your partner. And it could be also if you were people pleasing right now, you're just going to, want to balance out, and you're going to be like, no, I don't want to please and people please anyone. If you have kind of issues with your bladder, with your kidneys right now, you can pass a kidney stones, for example. You can check your adrenal glands or reproductive system, obviously some kind of imbalance, or, maybe a UTI you will get, and you have to get it, some sorted out somehow. Financially, definitely it could bring in a legal partnership, or, you can get a settlement in lawsuit as well. And or some kind of sponsorship, perhaps. Gemini rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your sixth house. Sixth house is something to do with work and service, or health industry as well, anything to do service for others. It's your dog, it's your rental property, it's your soulmate here. And it could be something to do with your routines, which is like, okay, I want to change my routine. I need to change my doctors, my MD, for example. I need to definitely have some kind, if you do have hormonal imbalance, you need maybe, you are in menopause, or you have some kind of issues with your womb, and you are like, all right, I need to have some kind of healing, some kind of gut healing. Also, you're gonna change your diet because Uranus is across, and it is actually something to do with your diet. Maybe you're going to go to Thailand and has some kind of, or India, some kind of Vedic, uh, you know, uh, and holistic kind of healing, but with nutrition, and you can lose weight finally. And it could be also if you want to have that, have some kind of parasite and candida cleanse right now, or some kind of hidden allergies. It could actually bring in and reveal some kind of hidden issues. Maybe you had UTI, you had a lot of issues, balances, but actually it's not vertigo. Perhaps it is Epstein-Barr or Lyme disease, which could mimic those symptoms. So, you might going to have that come to the surface, and you buy a Rife machine and you heal yourself, or firefly therapies, and you can heal it, or some kind of autoimmune condition, Hashimoto, definitely you can heal it. And in finances, you can have an offshore account opened, or maybe you have an uncle and aunt, and you just found out, you didn't know about them, and right now they are leaving you some kind of inheritances, right? And you can buy some kind of um, rental properties. You can rent out, and you can get retired from that. Okay. Cancer rising sun and moon, it's going to be in your fifth house. Fifth house is creativity, joy, children, intimacy, something to do with risk, gambling. So, careful with gambling, definitely. It could bring in a pregnancy, it could bring in a new lover, or your significant other could become really romantic, something to do with also, like sport and gambling, and also stock market trends. So be careful, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because that is opposing Uranus. So there could be actually a decrease with your cryptocurrency investment. So careful with that. There could be also something to do with like, all right, there is some kind of hobbies of your children where you need to pay a lot of money for their hobbies. They're getting into a sport league, and it's like a lot of money. And you try to do a crowdfund, or try to get what is that? Oh my God, go fund me, and you are capable to support your child. Maybe you are a single mother, right? And that's how you're going to try to. But it could be also fertility and finding a good fertility doctor, IVF therapy, for example, if you want to have a baby and you couldn't have it. But definitely it could bring in more dating and romantic affair as well. And you will be really proud of your child, and you will become very creative if you want to have an agent, or maybe to sign a contract in a studio, which is like you're gonna start to sing or being seen by the public right now. So definitely, but new hobby could come in for you, and some kind of speculative investment. Leo rising sun and moon is going to happen in your fourth house, which is your roots, your home, your real estate, your family, your foundation, right? It is your safety, family safety, something to do with agriculture as well, something to do with your homeland security over here. So it could be like some of you will need to protect yourself against ice, or anything to do with if you are a politician, something to do with the opposition party, they want to attack you and they're leaking some kind of email about you. But it could also create a weather event for you, and you temporarily need to move out because there is a tornado or earthquake and you have to do something with your house, like, renovate because there is some kind of issue with the foundation, right? But it could bring also a historical monument, like, all right, I'm going to find my biological parents, for example. And you can also have some kind of nesting instinct. Maybe you are pregnant and, cleaning the house because you're going to have the baby soon. And there is definitely a change in your private life. And perhaps you're going to find out something about your mother figure or substitute mother figure, and it's going to change the dynamic with the mother as well. Anything to do with water retention, for example, or ulcers, or some kind of eating issues, something to do with stomach related, digestive system related health issues can come across, or something to do with your best as well. And also the the gut brain axis right now. So it could be something to do with, like, you will find out if you eat too much steak, you are not spiritually enlightened. So you're going to have to get rid of heavy meat eating, and you're going to need to drink more water, for example. And also you might going to do some kind of therapy where you're going to, it could be a hypnosis where you're going to find out something to do with, like where you were in the womb of your mother. She didn't really wanted to abort you, or some kind of issue like that. And then, oh, the trauma is coming from that, and you're going to be capable to heal that. But if you are in inheritance real estate, something to do with real estate, something to do with generational wealth, right? And home investment, careful over there, because there could be some kind of cutout, or, it could be some kind of issue with real estate as well. Or if you are in farming, because of Uranus is in Taurus, which could be farming, and it could be something to do with the farming industry, food industry, which could somehow decrease. You can lose land or part of your land, or it's going to be taxed, and it could be an issue. All right, then Virgo rising, sun and moon, it's going to happen in your third house. Third house is your neighborhood, it is your mind language, the way you process information, it is mobility and anything to do with media. It is your cars as well, local transportation, communication system. There could be an issue with your traveling. You wanted to visit your sister, your aunt, uncle during Thanksgiving, and it's not going to happen because, as I said, there will be something to do with a lot of airplane traveling going to be declined, and uh, delayed. So yeah, it could be something also with your educational system. Maybe you started university, but somehow the financial support is not coming through, and you have to either skip a year, a gap year, or like give up right now higher education. It could be also like maybe your child actually has some kind of processing information, the way process information or sensory issues. And right now you are trying to support your child with that. If you have any kind of issues with your arms, for example, shoulders and wrists, it could be a carpal tunnel, neurological frozen shoulder, also some kind of respiratory issue and thyroid issue, what you need to look for right now, hip, for example, like especially if you are menopause, or even women with even if they still have the period, but something to do with heavy, periods, it could create those kind of issues as well. But definitely it is something to do with EMF. Try to protect yourself with for EMF as well. And if you are a journalist, a writer, a freelancer with writing, or you're creating, for example, social media content, YouTube channel, it could be really good for that, for marketing job or for content creation as well, blogging, and e-commerce and short-term trades as well. You can open an Etsy store as well. Local businesses selling something on market. Then Libra rising sun and moon is going to happen in your second house, which is possession, worth, self-worth, and anything to do with your values, survivor. It's also agriculture values as well. So you might going to actually invest in agriculture, farm rents, Also, it could be like wealth coming from mining, right? Be careful with inflation and taxation if you actually bought some kind of currency, because eighth house and Uranus over there, eighth house ruled by Venus for you, so it could be currency. It could be something like you losing money on your dollar, on your 401k, on your retirement. So careful and make sure, like you are talking to someone, you have someone who is an advisor how to actually create wealth, later on. But, it could be some kind of change, something to do with taxation. You maybe have to be on audited, or, it could be trading goods and mortgages. You wanted to pay off the mortgage, but somehow you have to pay for your implants, which is $60,000, and you are not capable to pay off the mortgage. Be careful with your throat, your necks, your vocal cords. Maybe you talk too much. Because of, that could actually have some kind of issues with jaw. As I said, it could be something with implants, and that's why you are not capable to pay off some kind of debts. And your oral health is very, very important. The food that you eat, don't eat right now for a while, at least for 6 weeks, raw meat or medium rare meat. My children eats the beef like that, and I'm going crazy because it could create some kind of health issues, right? So that's definitely very important. Your personal resources, but however, you can get a sidekick job right now, or you're going to find out you have a talent with maybe astrology, financial astrology, investigating, and you're going to do that, and it's going to bring you money. All right, Scorpio rising sun and moon, obviously it's happening in your first house. First house, anything to do with yourself, with your identity, with your whole entire beings, right? And that is your character. That is, the way you are actually representing your company and representing yourself. It's courage, it's your individuality, your willpower over here, your independence. And you can actually have a new wardrobe, you can have a new haircut, you're going to become very motivational, you're going to create a crowdfund, you're going to invest, and maybe you're going through some kind of psychological, uh, shadow work right now, which is going to help also with your relationship as well. And it is personal ventures. You can actually do a startup or a crowdfund. You can actually become a freelancer right now with new gigs, right? New gigs as well, and brand yourself. And it's gonna have a high risk tolerance as well, your new business as well. All right, it could bring in some kind of separation and divorce for some of you. but definitely it could bring in a lot of new income for Scorpio rising sun and moon, or you can go through a surgery, a whole identity changes as well. And because it's opposing Uranus, some of you going to go through like even gender, like changes over here. Yeah, it could be a whole entire facelift, people not going to recognize you. Sagittarius rising, sun and moon. I'm a Sagittarius rising, guys. It's going to happen in our sixth house, right? Sixth house and 12th house. Yes, the 12th house over here. What does it mean? 12th house, anything to do with the hidden. It is mysticism. It is isolation. It is surrender. It is retirement. Some of you going to get retired. Some of you going to go to actually addiction center and get rid of addiction. It could be like release from hospice, hospital, miraculous healing, or from prison. And also it could be like you are exiting a secret society. You're going to face your hidden enemies because right now it's going to get revolved for you. Something to do with hidden surveillance. I mentioned that at the beginning, and it could be like, oh my God, I went to a hotel, 12 houses hotel or B&B, boutique hotels, and somebody was recording me. But I told you guys, if you have that device which could actually eliminate this kind of obstacles, then buy it. But it could be also you're going to do a lot more researches. You're going to find out family karma. You're gonna have very, very intuitive dreams, but try not to be illusional and escape right now in addictions, for example, or try to not betray yourself. Also, it could be survivor guilt, for example, and self-sabotaging behavior because of survivor guilt. Uh, Take care of your lymphatic system and take care of your immune system, because right now you can actually have some kind of issues with that. So lymphatic massage is very important. Make sure you are actually taking C vitamin, and it's not just like D vitamin, red light therapy, and dealing with your mental illness, or if you have any, or your depression. It could bring in sleep disorders as well, apnea, so careful with that, or some kind of hidden autoimmune disease, Lyme disease, which could overwhelm you as well. But you can get some kind of anonymous donation, or a huge amount of donation from people who are following you on social media. So it could be really, really good for you guys. All right, then we're going to have Capricorn rising sun and moon, and it's going to happen in your 11th house, which anything to do with your future progress, anything to do with your network, with the inner rebellion. It is your social media account, friendship zone. It is also anything to do with tech innovation. You can start a space program, a non-profit. You can become a political activist right now. You can start some kind of humanitarian work as well, right? So it is also like building online communities and getting into political movements. You can get actually a salary increase from your career, and your friends. Also, you can get new friends right now, friends whose values are similar with yours as well. And it could be something to do. If you have any issues with your ankles and also with your nervous system, careful with them. And the nervous system could be some, because of you have some kind of toxic food, or, eating something raw or eating something dirty, for example. It could careful with your water, not to have some kind of toxin in it, or some kind of dirty water which could create some kind of neurological issues. It could also create some kind of dopamine issues as well, because Uranus is opposing over here, and you're going to actually become overstimulated and want to withdraw yourself from society perhaps, and not to be on a lot of events. You want to stay home. But definitely it could become really good if you have some an application you want to do, or some kind of online monetization. Aquarius rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your 10th house, which is authority, career, your reputation, anything to do with loyalty over here, government as well. So you can actually create a political party, or, to be part of the government. or you can actually be the CEO of a business corporation. You can become a public figure, right? Or you can get actually royalty out from your publication as well. And definitely you can become a CEO, and you're going to become very ambitious, and your career path is changing right now. Your public image is going to be your mission the next half year, and you want to actually have recognition and achievement and succeed. And but you're gonna be under pressure. Why? Because of the family also want to have you, and somehow you are overwhelmed with work, and you're not going to be able the pillar of your family at this moment. If you have any kind of bone and joint issue, something to do with your knees, some kind of arthritis, and also it could bring in some kind of chronic stress and skin disease as well right now, because of you are overworking and you burned out. Be careful with that, because it could induce some kind of trauma. On the other hand, in finances, career income is rising right now. Anything to do with, for example, pension as well. You can get retired, an honorable retirement. You can get mm, what is that? A presidential award or honor, uh, a Nobel Peace Prize. You can have a TED Talk right now, so it could be really great. And Pisces rising sun and moon is going to happen actually in your ninth house. Ninth house, anything to do with your beliefs, your spiritual system, that's your high education, that's your older siblings. It is your foreign matter, something to do with a different country, with export, import, business, philosophy. You might going to actually have a new religion or some kind of a religious conflict right now, something to do with immigration issues, visa, passport. You can lose a passport, careful, especially if you want to travel. It could actually delay your traveling right now. If you have some issues with publishing, you're going to publish perhaps a lot of book right now, but there could be some kind of revisiting, re-editing, because there could be some kind of issue with publishing. But your belief system going to change, your fate could change, and it could be something to do with a new adventure as well. And you're going to get connected with your older sibling if you have any. You are definitely a visionary thinker right now, and it's going to bring in opportunity to YouTubing, to create a YouTube channel. Careful with your hip. Pisces rising sun and moon, because of you can have some kind of issues with liver toxicity, maybe fatty liver, maybe you drink too much alcohol. I know there is a lot of even because of the holiday season coming up. So careful with alcohol or fat metabolism. Maybe you started ketogenic diet, but it's not really suit for you, and you're purging, you vomit a lot. So because of you cannot actually absorb or break down fat, as because of your liver is already overwhelmed, right? But it could also bring in sciatica and spiritual burnout as well. If you are in finances, something to do with export, import, tourism, YouTubing, like teaching, global trade, or if you want to start law and actually finish right now, law, it could happen for you. Yes, or start a religious non-profit. All right, guys, that's what I wanted to tell you. So, the three, share that with other people, please. Share that on social media, on Facebook. I don't know if you're following Glory or Lada or Leo King or whatever, and they have Facebook's page, and if you allow to, because some doesn't allow to, share it with Candy Sovereign, please. And talk about me, because that could bring in like more people in my way, and I can do a better job, obviously, uh, if I will be followed by more. But I really appreciate you to be here, especially the ones who always comment, and I see you. And thank you so much to being here for you. And look out for the other people. I'm doing podcast right now. As I said, Lori is coming up, Lodian today. And I do have with Ryan and Ryan Hunt, it's already got published, and I'm gonna have Crossy on November 25th. I'm gonna have Ian going on November 19th. I'm gonna put Victor's video. I just have to do the first version of that really soon. and Nadia Shah. I just have to do the video, and I'm very busy. And yes, and again, because of my book, she made a lot of mistake, the formatting girl, and right now she's willing to actually recreate it, and hopefully she will adjust that on Amazon so I can release for everyone. So hopefully by it has to be like end of November, until we still have this beautiful kite formation, but hopefully it's going to be released really soon. Thank you so much to being patient and staying with me. Bye for now.